Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jonas, and I lead the manufacturing operations at Proterra. When I stepped into this role, the mission was straightforward. It was to build the best battery pack in America. And what I quickly learned is how was not going to be that simple. What it actually takes is a dedicated, highly skilled workforce that shows up every single day with a purpose. A culture that doesn't just tolerate change, it chases it. As an operations team, our slogan is "Better Never Stops," and we mean it. Our battery pack is not just a product. They're an advanced system engineered around safety, and that demands a standard of manufacturing that matches its complexity. Today I want to share what I've learned, sometimes the hard way, on what it means to elevate domestic manufacturing. It's not just about meeting a spec, it's about building something that you're genuinely proud of, and that's exactly what we do every day, every shift in our factory in Greer. I want to start by setting the landscape, discussing where the market is right now, because context matters. The commercial EV market is in transition. Incentives that fleets were counting on are either paused or gone. Regulations that were driving purchase decisions are under review. Compliance timelines that OEMs built product roadmaps around are being questioned. What that means in practice is that the business case for electrification has shifted. Total cost of ownership is no longer just a talking point. It's increasingly the deciding factor between a fleet operator who moves forward and who doesn't. It also changes who's buying. The customers who are still moving in this market are operating in demanding environments. They can't afford a performance failure, they can't afford a supply chain disruption, and they have no tolerance for manufacturers who are figuring out quality real time as they run their business. At Proterra, we've had the privilege and responsibility of powering some of the most demanding vehicles and equipment around the globe. This includes transit buses, Class 8 trucks, port and construction equipment, school buses, and more. That's real-world validation that our product works when it matters. So now let me set the stage on policy, because it's changing fast and it seems like it's changing every single day. The Build America, Buy America Act established that any manufacturer product receiving federal infrastructure funding must be fully and finally assembled in the US and meet 55% domestic component cost thresholds. The FTA's Buy America rule for transit rolling stock sets an even higher bar. It's 70% domestic content with final US assembly. This is the new normal. Policy compliance isn't just about the finished pack. It runs all the way up your supply chain. And this is where a lot of manufacturers are going to find themselves exposed. Being a genuinely compliant domestic supply chain means making deliberate sourcing decisions at every tier. The enclosure, thermal management components, wiring harnesses, BMSs, and your hardware. It means qualifying domestic and near-shore suppliers in advance, not scrambling to swap them out in the end. It means understanding your component cost stack at a granular level so you can demonstrate, not just claim, that you meet the threshold. The last few years have made it very clear what happens when manufacturers are over-indexed on a single geography for critical components. Geopolitical disruptions, export controls, tariff shifts, these aren't hypothetical risks anymore. They are active conditions that affect our cost structure and our ability to deliver. The manufacturers who are best positioned are the ones who made the harder, more decisions early before these disruptions hit. So what does this mean for the landscape of manufacturing? It means we have to think well beyond assembling parts. The manufacturers who thrive in this environment are the ones who have built operations where compliance is not just a checkbox, it's a capability. Sustainable, scalable, embedded in every layer of our business. Manufacturers who have assembled imported kits inside US buildings and call it domestic are now exposed. Genuine compliance isn't a paperwork exercise. You need to understand your cost component stack and prove it with data. It requires a supply chain that's purposely built, a facility that is properly invested in, and a team that understands not just how to do the work, but why it matters. At Proterra, we've built this capability since day one. Our Greer facility meets and exceeds both BABA and FDA Buy America requirements. We do actively lead with that. We believe it's becoming one of the most important differentiators in the industry. Our team is fully bought into the company mission and the importance of our product application. They are the reason our investment in infrastructure and process actually translate into a high-quality product in the hands of our customer. You can have the best facility in the country, but if the people on the floor don't have the skills, the training, the ownership mentality to execute, none of it matters. That means my job is bigger than building the best battery pack in America. I work cross-functionally to ensure supply chain is resilient, we have quality parts coming in, and that they're reliable, and that we have a proven product going out the door to our customers. Compliance and quality, they're not separate functions. They reinforce each other, and our workforce is what makes the connection real every single day. Traditionally, manufacturing excellence has focused on throughput, managing cost, and running lean. You can run a tight ship and still produce an unreliable battery pack if the people on your line don't understand why the job matters. What I found is this: the manufacturers who are going to win are the ones that understand culture isn't a soft thing. Culture is a technical tool. It directly determines the quality of the product coming off your line. What I mean by that, in battery manufacturing, the failure modes that matter most are not primarily process failures. They are attention failures. They happen when someone on the line is going through the motions rather than genuinely engaged in the outcome. You cannot engineer your way around that with more inspection stations. You have to fix the condition upstream. The data on this is actually quite strong. Research consistently shows that highly engaged manufacturing workforces produce significantly fewer quality defects and have dramatically better safety records than their disengaged counterparts. The gap between a mediocre manufacturer and an excellent one isn't the equipment. It's the workforce culture operating the equipment. So what does this actually look like in practice? It starts with making sure every single person in our facility understands what they're building and who depends on it. We're not just building a box with wires. We're building the power system for a transit bus that carries 40,000 riders a year. We're building the battery pack and port equipment that runs a 16-hour shift. And we're building the pack in a fire apparatus that can't afford a failure. A few months back, we had the privilege of bringing one of our customers on site with their EV transit bus that they had recently built with our battery pack. Our teams got to do a ride-along and see our product perform in a real-life application. It was so much fun watching our team take pride in what they built and see it in action. When your team understands the impact of your product, the dynamic on the floor changes. Quality stops being something that happens at the end of the line and starts being something that every operator owns. We run daily shift huddles. Leadership does regular Gambo walks, not to check on people, but to stay connected to our process and understand what's actually happening. We have a near-miss reporting culture where surfacing a potential problem is recognized, not buried. Every near-miss is data. It tells you something about your process before a warranty claim ever does. So now let me get specific about what rigorous quality control actually looks like for heavy-duty battery packs, because it's more demanding than what most people outside this industry realize. We test at every stage. Incoming cells are inspected for capacity, voltage, internal resistance before they ever touch our line. In process, we use automated visual inspection, infrared thermal imaging for connection quality, and insulation resistance throughout our assembly. Our no-fault forward production system means predefined process sequence must be verified before work proceeds. Nobody is able to ship a problem downstream. At the end of the line, every pack goes through additional testing full charge-discharge cycling, battery management system function check, leak detection, and vibration testing. Proterra also conducts our own abuse testing, including vibration, impact, and crush during our design phase. Our operators are critical to ensuring we build a quality product, and their safety is the utmost important priority. Safety is not a program we rolled out. It's a culture we have built from the ground up. And in battery manufacturing, that distinction matters more than in any other industry. High voltage battery manufacturing introduces hazards that most traditional manufacturing playbooks were not written for. One of the first things I had to confront in this role is that we were operating in an environment where standard industrial safety practices simply have not caught up to our technology. So we had to write our own. We developed rigorous protocols purpose-built for our environment, and we train our workforce continuously, because protecting our people starts with making sure they're never in a situation they aren't prepared for. We've invested in a dedicated trained emergency response team that understands the unique hazards of our high voltage system. This isn't a general safety team with a fire extinguisher. These are individuals specifically trained for scenarios that can occur in our facility. That level of preparedness is not common in the industry, and we're often used as a benchmark. Another key element to our safety program is something that gets often overlooked. We invest in ergonomic tooling, workstation design, and process engineering to protect our workforce, thinking beyond just today's shift. Our operators are skilled and experienced and hard to replace. Keeping them healthy and able to do the best work for the long term is both the right thing to do and smart for business. So I want to leave you with something actionable. 3 things that have moved the needle for us that you can start implementing regardless of where you are in your manufacturing maturity. Number 1, invest in your people before you need to. Don't wait for a quality escape or a safety incident to take workforce development seriously. The manufacturers who win are the ones who build skilled, engaged teams before the pressure is on, not in response to it. Your workforce is your most important quality system. Number 2, build compliance in, don't bolt it on. Whether it's domestic content requirements, safety protocols, or quality standards, if it's not embedded in your process from the start, it will cost you more to fix it later than it ever would have to do it right the first time. Compliance shouldn't be your finish line. It's a foundation. And number 3, make quality everybody's job, not just the quality department. The shift that changed everything for us was when our operators stopped thinking of quality as something that gets done at the end and started owning it in their station. That mindset shift doesn't happen with a memo. It happens when leadership is on the floor, when near misses get recognized instead of buried, and when every person understands who is depending on what they build. The market is uncertain right now. Policy is shifting. Customer expectations are higher than ever, but I genuinely believe this is the moment that separates manufacturers who are ready from the ones who weren't. At Proterra, we are proud of what we've built in Greer. Not just the product, but the operation, the culture, and the team behind it. And that commitment is what shows up in every pack we ship. So wherever you're at in your journey, whether you're scaling, optimizing, or just getting started, I hope something from today's conversation gives you a concrete place to begin. Elevating domestic manufacturing is not just good for business. It's good for the industry, and it's good for our customers who are all depending on us to get it right. Thank you.